Thanks for tuning in for another episode of Science with Miss Heather. I wanted to send a quick thank you to my buddy Bennett for his super awesome video sharing some skeletons that he found. I miss you too, dude. Thank you again for sending that video. It made my whole day. Alright guys, last time we talked about classification in the different phyla, or groups of animals. Today, we're going to start exploring those groups. Now I know we're stuck inside, but today we're going to take a brain vacation to the beach. Alright, so everyone, go ahead and close your eyes. Do you hear the ocean? Let's all listen to the crashing of the ocean waves. Can you feel the sand between your toes when you wiggle them? Try wiggling them. All that sand between your phalanges. Now, your beach can be warm or cold, whichever one you prefer. I love warm beaches, so I'll be sitting in the sand of a nice warm beach. So today you're sitting there in the sand and you're looking out at the ocean and you notice something. It's a big old blob on the sand. Kind of looks like someone sneezed and left a big pile of mucus. Gross. But you take a closer look and you see this. What on earth is that? Maybe I've just been inside too long, but I think I just heard Sophia yelling jellyfish, and she's right. That's a beach jellyfish. Now we know better than to touch this animal. It has stinging cells called cnidocytes that help to keep it safe and help it to catch its food. You know, jellyfish are some of my favorite animals. What kind of skeletons do they have again? Oh yeah, hydrostatic skeletons. They push against that tube of water or that bubble of water that helps them to move. They also have something called a gastrovascular cavity. What on earth is a gastrovascular cavity? Well, I'm glad you asked. A gastrovascular cavity is how some creatures get their food. Let me show you. Here is a jellyfish. Okay. So it's not really a jellyfish, obviously. That would be weird if I just had a jellyfish at home. But this is a jellyfish that I made just to demonstrate how they eat, especially for you guys. Well, for a jellyfish to eat, it needs to use these stinging cells that are hanging at the bottom of its tentacles. Now, the stinging cells will immobilize its prey and catch them right here, and then bring them into the main body of the jellyfish, where its stomach is, or its gastrovascular cavity. And then, when that jellyfish is done digesting, it kind of does exactly what that owl does, you know? We saw that owl. It spits out the leftovers. All the stuff it doesn't eat. In this case, the bones of fish or skeletons or what have you. Now, jellyfish in their gastrovascular cavities might remind you of another kind of cavity. The last time you've probably heard the word cavity was when you went to the dentist and they checked to see if you have any in your mouth. Well, what they're looking for are little holes in your teeth. So cavity just means hole, and you get them if you're not brushing well. All right, in the case of the jellyfish, the hole or the cavity is its entire mouth and stomach put together. It brings the food into the cavity, takes all the vitamins and stuff, and spits it right out, just like we saw. It's that simple. So now the jellyfish, it has a whole group, because its whole group isn't just jellyfish, as cool as that would be for me. Its phyla is called cnidaria. Cnidaria means stinging creatures. If we walk away from our jellyfish blob that's sitting in the sand, we're back to imagining. We're going to step a little away from it, because we don't want to get stung. And we're going to walk over to some rocks and tide pools, and we're going to find another member of the group cnidaria. It's a sea anemone. If you poke it, you see it's all little wiggly tentacles, and if you poke it right in the middle, it'll go. Well, an anemone is also part of that same group, that phyla of cnidaria. Not all of them have stinging cells that'll hurt you, but a lot of them do. And so fish can sometimes make their homes in those anemones for safety. If you feel like snorkeling later while we're here on the beach, maybe you can go and see another member of that family, coral. Coral? Yeah, coral is also cnidaria. They've got stinging cells. But we're not really there yet. We're not ready to snorkel. We just got to the tide pools. So we're going to continue to look around here. Now imagine you're looking into a big, sandy and rocky tide pool, really big one. And you see this. I don't know about you guys, but I love sea stars. They can have 5 or more legs, and they come in all these different shapes and colors. Now, sea stars aren't related to jellyfish. It's a different group. For one, they have endoskeletons. Secondly, they don't sting. They do still have a lot in common with cnidaria, though. They live underwater, and they also have gastrovascular cavities. They eat a little bit differently, though. A starfish, for example, can move its stomach outside of its body to eat. Let me show you. So, here's my little starfish. He's not the cutest thing in the world, but he's got a little depth to him. He's not a big mover. Now, the underside of a starfish, maybe you've seen it against an aquarium glass, kind of looks pretty same as the front. It's got nice little tube feet along these little arms, but in the middle there's a hole. And that hole is where his stomach can come out of his body. It can eat poor little fish or things that get caught along the bottom of the ocean. It traps them into his tummy, and guess what? It gets stuffed inside to its body, where it eats and eats and eats, and then spits out any little bitty remains that are left. Whew. And that's it. Now, in a group with starfish are also sea urchins and sand dollars. If you walk over to the sand, you might see some of these guys half buried. I know that's one of my favorite things to do when I go to the beach. So let me show you the last time I went, I got a pretty good collection of them in all shapes and sizes. Now, sand dollars were alive. They're not just these really cool things that we find on the beach. They were little living creatures, and what we find on the beach is just their endoskeletons. Their endoskeletons, just like ours, is what gives it that structure and the strength, but it doesn't help it to move in this case. Starfish have these little noodle-like legs, just like sand dollars, and even sea urchins have them too, but they don't really use them to move along the ocean floor. Those noodle-like extensions are called tube feet, because they're little tubes that act as feet for these creatures. Now, this group of animals all together, with tube feet and their little gastrovascular cavities and an endoskeleton, are called echinoderms. Echinoderms means spiny skin because they all have this really rough skin, especially sea urchins. That's right, even if it's beautiful, back away and don't touch it. Let's wander over to another tide pool. All right, look closely, guys. I see something really close. Can you see it? It's got 6 legs, a pair of claws, and it's always scuttling sideways over the rocks. Oh, look, I caught it. Yes, it is a crab, a really tiny one. Did you know that there are almost 1,000 different species of crabs? They can be as small as this little guy or as twice as big as me. That's right, me, 6 feet tall, 2 of me, a crab that big. Yeah, that would be the Japanese spider crab. I don't think I could handle running into one of them, guys. Now, crabs are part of one of the biggest and most successful groups of animals. They're called arthropods. Arthropods include lobsters, insects, arachnids, and centipedes and millipedes. What kind of skeleton do these animals have? Do you remember? They have exoskeletons. Now, the exoskeleton has a nice hard shell in these creatures that look kind of like plates, just like in that little guy I showed you. Those plates join together just like a knight's armor does to protect it. So, arthropod is a word that means joint foot. That seems really strange, but let's talk about it. If we think back to our knight, he isn't completely covered all the way, right? He has openings in his elbows and his knees and his ankles and his wrists that help him to move and bend while he's in armor. Otherwise, he'd just be a statue and wouldn't be very effective, but he'd be safe. This is how arthropods move also. They've got joints in their legs and arms that help them to move, but that hard exoskeleton between it to protect all of their soft body parts. Our bug and lobster friends need it. They need it. Otherwise, they could be crushed really easily, or, I mean, who knows what. Arthropods have a digestive system that's a lot like ours. They eat food, it moves through their body, and then it goes out the other end. So we're going to let our crab friend digest his lunch, and we're going to move on to explore the rest of the beach. Before continuing, though, let's take a quick break to enjoy our brain vacation. I know it's really, really hard, you guys, not being able to see each other. I miss seeing you guys all the time. It's definitely not fun being at home, and I hear you. But remember what I told you about people. One thing that makes people special is we have the ability to imagine things. So let's use that imagination now. It's like a really cool superpower that just people have. We could even imagine that our friends are all here on the beach with us. So let's try that for a second. I'm going to imagine. Now, when I close my eyes, I can see Noah T and Henry and Noah I and Liam all digging in the sand. I can see Gabriel and Jace P and Bennett and Cash and Isaiah doing tumbles. Even though I'm imagining it, it's still making me really nervous. Please stop, guys. You're going to get hurt. Even just imagining that makes me really nervous. I can see Jasper, Jack, and Maxwell, and they are building the biggest possible sandcastle with a huge moat around it to protect their castle. And right next to them, I see Anya and Clara and Jocelyn building a very beautiful, decorative sandcastle. I see Scarlett, and she's with the second grade girls, and it's her and Isa and Lil and Sophia and Ellie, and they're all digging in the sand and making potions with the new girl, Clara, using a driftwood stick and some seaweed. And Colin and Connor are over there, and they're collecting shells to come and show me. And I see Marlena and Mila N and Ava A are over there dancing to some music that's playing on the beach. I can see Kai and Jude and Seth and Damon and JC are all finding amazing rocks to show to everybody. Isla and Mila and Georgie and Surin are still exploring the tide pools. And Lily, Mayreen, Mason, and Ava Sue are drawing in the sand with sticks and singing songs and goofing around. Delaney and Oren have found a really weird pile of kelp. It's full of tiny creatures that they're just really getting excited about. And over there, Eliana and Mila are galloping along the beach, leaving footprints in the sand. I can also see Andy and Shelby and Ava G using their towels to make very elaborate, fancy dresses. And they're having their own beach fashion show. No one's ever done it before. This is happening now. Oh, look at Shelby. Wandering. Gorgeous. I can see Jonah, and he's crawling on the sand. I can only imagine that he's chasing some kind of bug, trying to figure out what it is before he comes and reports to me exactly what it is. I'm really excited to find out, dude. Let me know. And over there, just chilling on a little towel, relaxing and eating some snacks, I see Orion and Ezra talking about whatever RPG they're going to play when they get back from the beach. Hang on. Where's Wyatt? Has anybody seen Wyatt? That's the one we should be watching out for. I don't know where Dinosaur Wyatt went, but we should all be looking for him. Let me know if you see him. See, imagination, it's really powerful, you guys. We just gotta practice using it every once in a while. Now, back into our imagination we go. We're gonna study our last group of animals for the day. We're gonna need to put on our scuba gear. So, everybody grab your goggles, your oxygen tanks. Oh, set them here because we have to put on our scuba suits first. So, step in, pull them on, zip them up, over your head. You should feel real cozy and warm now. Maybe a little too warm because we're on a warm beach. And now slip your goggles back on over your head and throw on your oxygen tank. It's really heavy, so be careful. Get your flippers on. And get ready with your mouthpiece. We're going to go over on the boat and then we're going to dive underwater. Are we ready? All right, everybody fall backwards carefully, not hurting yourself. into the water so that we can go and find our last group of animals for the day. You ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Whew. Okay, stay together. We're going to swim to the ocean floor. Keep your eyes open. We're looking for a very strange creature. Good thing for us, it's not going anywhere. It's stuck to the ground. Wait, I think I see it over there. All right, keep going. Aha, here we are. Here is a sponge. A sponge? We swam all the way down here for a sponge? I know. It's not the most exciting animal, you guys. But it is an animal. Now, when I say sponge, you're probably thinking, you know, these things. The things that your parents use to clean stuff. Maybe you help them to clean stuff with them. But not quite. The sponge is an animal that's made up of lots and lots and lots of little cells. And they stick on the ocean floor. And they really don't do very much. They're very simple animals. They eat by filter feeding. So if you've ever seen the show SpongeBob SquarePants, one time he talks about eating and he'll just sit there and open his mouth and go, and that's how sponges eat. They filter what ocean water's coming through and they catch the little bits and pieces like protists and bacteria and eat them up, and that's what keeps them alive. Now, our sponge friends, once upon a time, used to be cut down and used to make the sponges that we use to clean things up. That's why we call these tools sponges, because once upon a time, they were. But now we make these things artificially without having to hurt the animals. Now, sponges are part of a group called PORIFERA. PORIFERA just means full of holes. Not really an original name. There you go. All right, that's enough exploring of the ocean today. Let's go ahead and swim back to the surface. Whew. All right, masks off, everybody. Let's head back to the beach. I hope today that you had some fun, and we still have a lot of other types of animals to learn about, but we'll talk about them next time. Let's play one last game together before class ends. I'm going to put each of the 5 kingdoms up on the screen. Here they are. Animal, plant, fungi, protists, and bacteria. Now, I'm going to tell you a fact about a living creature, or name a living creature, and you tell me what kingdom it belongs to. You ready? Okay, first one. I am a living thing that can have petals, sepals, anthers, and leaves. What am I? If you said plants, you're right. Good job. Plants can have flowers. They don't have to. And those flowers can have petals, sepals, anthers, and leaves. All right, next one, a little trickier. I am a one-celled creature, single cell. I like to move around with cilia, flagella, like a propeller, or a pseudopod. What am I? Remember, pseudopod's like a fake foot. They don't really have feet because they're only one cell. Tiny. If you said protists, you are correct, and good job. All right, next one. I am also a single-celled creature. I help you by living in your tummy and breaking down food, or I could make you sick if you don't wash your hands. What am I? Practicing washing my hands while I wait. If you said bacteria, you are correct. Bacteria can be helpful or hurtful, which reminds me, your homework from me today is simply to replay Cafeteria Bacteria, or Bacteria in the Cafeteria. I put the link below the video, so all you have to do is scroll down below the video after it's over and click on it, and it'll take you right to the game, okay? Good luck, I hope you get another perfect score. All right, next one. This organism is a decomposer. It breaks stuff down. It looks like it has roots, but it doesn't. It has something called mycelia instead. What has mycelia? This is a tricky one. If you said fungus, you are right. Good job. Fungi have mycelia. All right, last one. I am a living creature. I can't make my own food, but I can move around. I might have fur or feathers or scales. What am I? If you said animal, you are correct. All right, guys, great job today. I hope you had fun imagining. I really did, and I hope you guys keep enjoying all of the cool living things that are around you. Have fun playing the game, and I will see you for our next video. Bye, guys.